St. Mark.
The warning signs were all there. The tingling on in hair. The loudest voice was your own.
That was it. So this is my fantasy, to be here with the great poets, Chris Brandt, Ann Waldman, I mean the whole crew. And so thank you. But the issue is why do they want to irradiate us? And it has a lot to do with, the reason I was showing you that film, which is from the interactive version of my book coming out, is there's a reason why the issue of nuclear power and my being in that woman's room without my pants on is all very much related. And if you saw in the film, there was some numbers. That's what it comes down to. Southern Company is the largest electric power company in the United States, runs the Vogtle nuclear plant, and has been designated as the first corporation which will get a hunk of the $8 billion that Obama has authorized to subsidize the building of the first new nuclear plants in America in 30 years. Okay? I just want you to know who these guys are. So the reason I was in a room had to do with the investigation of the murder of Jake Horton. Or maybe it wasn't a murder. All I know is that Jake Horton was a senior vice president of the Southern Company, the new nuclear plant builder. And he said he told the chairman of the board, the CEO, that he was about to go blow the whistle on the company. He had it. He's going to the Attorney General. For some reason, he borrowed the company plane on that mission. 12 minutes after the plane took off, it exploded all over Atlanta. Now, I wanted to find out not so much who killed Jake. That's what happens in this industry, by the way. That's part of the game. I want to know what he had in his bag, which blew up. And I think he had this. Okay? And what this is, you'll have to take my word. See, I'm just like Joe McCarthy. I say, I've got documents. The difference is that I actually have the documents. This is a listing of spare parts for the Vogtle nuclear plant and other spare parts in the company that they were keeping track of because they didn't actually exist, but they were charging the public for it, millions and millions and millions of dollars. Massive fraud. But like any good company, they kept a very careful account of those things, and needless to say, I'm not going to tell you I got a hold of it. Doesn't matter. That's my job. But I want to tell you that these are the guys. Okay? I don't think that Obama should hand over $8 billion till they can tell us exactly where the parts are of both Jake and for the nuclear plant. Okay? And who's paying for it? Now, am I worried about the resurgence of nuclear power? Okay. Well, we saw what happened in Japan, but that's okay, because if you listen to CNN, you watch CNN, you saw Anderson Cooper, he told you that there was a 9/0 earthquake, which was far bigger than they ever expected at Fukushima. It shook the plant and it melted down. Okay? But what they don't tell you is that on Anderson Cooper's planet, see, they defecate through their eyes, it goes over the airways and goes straight into your brain. There was no 9/0 earthquake at Fukushima, okay? That was 100 goddamn miles in the ocean, in the Pacific Ocean. By the time it hit Fukushima, it was about between 7 and 8. Now, if you know anything about logarithmic scale, Richter scale, it was moving at about 500 Galileos. You don't have to know that, except that's a measure of shake in the shake, rattle, and roll seismic business. Okay? And let me read you this quote. It's from someone's notebook. The notebook of a nuclear engineer who was a chief nuclear engineer at one of the major nuclear plants in the U.S. for Stone & Webster Company. And his notebook says, Wiesel was very upset. This is better than any poem. Actually, it's a great poem. It's the real poem. Found poem. Does that count?
Yeah.
Found poem. Okay. Criminal poem. Indictable poem. Weasel was very upset. He seemed very nervous, very agitated. In fact, the plant was riddled with problems that no way on earth could stand an earthquake. The team of engineers sent in to inspect found that most of these components could, quote, completely and utterly fail, end quote, during an earthquake. That was before Fukushima. We got these notebooks. The company, the nuclear engineer that wrote that, confessing about the reason why Weasel is nervous is that it's a federal crime to fake what's called the SQ seismic qualification tests. It's a federal crime, and he was told to change the score of the nuclear plant at Shoreham, New York, from passed to failed, from failed to passed, so that it could withstand a seismic event. Now, that was Stone & Webster Company. Shapeshifters corporations. You know, remember that now they're human beings, except one, they can't die in a rack, but they can shift their shape. I brought the evidence to a jury here in New York and Brooklyn. They found the company liable for racketeering and fraud and hit them for $4 billion. So they changed their name. And the company that will receive the $8 billion from Obama with Stone & Webster, Jake's company, but it will be built by Stone & Webster, the guys that fake the earthquake tests. Fukushima has been built and will be rebuilt by Stone & Webster, the guys that fake the earthquake tests. Okay. In case you can still sleep at night, I got more. I was watching with my chief investigatrix, Miss Badpenny, that's really her name, Letty Badpenny. And it's 4 a.m. And she's saying, you got to write something about this. I said, look, no. I said, but the plants will melt. The diesels are going to fail. Because we were being told by Sanjay Gupta, what the heck is he doing talking about nuclear power and on CNN? Don't worry, there are emergency diesel generators which run water into the plants in case of an emergency. That's what saves us, because it'll flood the plants with water and everything's fine. Oh, a tidal wave, a tsunami crashed through and destroyed the emergency diesel generators at Fukushima. That's why it melted down. Oh my God, who could have expected that? Except it's not true. Take a look at Google Earth and you see where the emergency diesel generators are. They were no more wet than the washroom here at 80 St. Mark's, okay? I wouldn't go in barefoot, but you don't need a swimming suit. They made it up. What happened to the emergency diesel generators? Why did they fail? Why did they fail? The answer was they committed suicide. See, now, how a machine commits suicide is that the emergency diesel generators, I found out, I get a call from a diesel generator engineer who says, don't use my name. They all say, don't use my name. We do, if you know my work on BBC, you'll see a lot of people talking in shadows. You see a lot of, in fact, if you have documents, please give them to me. I will, I'll go to Guantanamo, wear the orange suit for you rather than give up your name, all right? But give me the stuff. But this guy tells me about the emergency diesel generators. He said, I warned them about flooding. But I said, but there was no flooding, so how come they died? He said, well, they're not really designed for this type of event. I said, wait a minute. You're telling me that the emergency diesel generators are not designed to work in an emergency. And he explained, okay? Emergency diesel generators, they look big. They're like 4 times the size of this stage, and they make a lot of frickin' noise, okay? You got to hear one of these things. I mean, the whole building shakes. It sounds really, really, really impressive. They don't, except there's a problem. They are taken off of old cruise ships. They were used to turn propellers on old cruise ships, which if you ever notice a cruise ship, it doesn't like shoot out at 140 miles an hour out of a dock. But that's what it's supposed to do in case of a nuclear accident. It's 12 seconds to get up to 20,000 RPM, which it cannot do. So how do we know that? He said, when he told me that, I wasn't surprised because I had this from another nuclear engineer diesel inspector. Okay, this is record my last visit to Loco. That was the guys that we put out of business. I pressed them. I did not know why there was vibration in the crankshaft. I was unable to impress them sufficiently. You have to know, engineers are great because they keep daily logs. They're better than poets. You think you fill up notebooks? Wait, you should see engineers every single day. They write down what they're doing. Get their notebooks, and you understand a little about the people that rule you and would irradiate you. Okay? Weasel. Okay, that was we had before. Weasel with the seismic event. Oh, by the way, you say, oh well, New York. They're building plants in the South. They're building all these different places, right? We don't have to worry about it because we don't have earthquakes. Well, a seismic event is also a Valentine from Al Qaeda. It's a truck backing up into the plant. So here, in this case, this guy said the diesels don't work. We actually made them at the one plant, opened them up and test them. The first generator at full speed. First generator, crack, pop. Second, crackle. Third, snap, crackle, pop. All three generators gone. They might as well at the nuclear plants in the United States, in Japan, Germany. Everywhere that we have nuclear plants, and the 4 plants that they're going to build will be relying completely on these emergency diesel generators. They might as well put up Christmas tinsel to protect us. So that's all I wanted to tell you today, which is that a nuclear plant is built with steel and cement and lies and fraud. And that's the takeaway for today. So that's what I want you to remember.